Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Dogfish Head Distillery Company's Alternative Takes number 4, 86%. So, the good people over Dogfish Head reached out to us, sent us some samples, didn't give us any demands on what we had to say in a review, so we're going to take a few of these samples, tell you guys what you think about them. Dustin, you were a fan of the beer. And you said, hey, since they reached out to us, let's see what they got as far as whiskey. Here we are. They sent us these nice samples. They might have been a fan of my other channel. Who knows?
That one's on a black and yellow side, right?
You know it, buddy. Behind a paywall. 86 proof. So again, this is Alternative Takes number 4 from the Dogfish Head Distillery Company. Dustin, they had some really cool beers. Expensive beers.
So, they make their standard line, but this... And guys, I apologize at Dogfish Head. I know I read this and I've forgotten, but I believe this is a 4 or 6 year old single malt that they then finished for, I forget the length of time, in the barrels they use for Utopias. Now, I'm assuming there's a vatting at the end of the Utopias process, but just for those of you guys who are not beer drinkers, Utopias is a 25% beer that contains beers that they barrel age up to 30 years in some cases, and then vat together, creating a carbonation-free, high-alcohol, essentially a liqueur, more comparable to a cognac, sherry, port. Not cognac, but a sherry or a port than to your traditional whiskey or a beer. So, and those go for $200-$300, Mike. Those bottles. So, very fancy barrels going into this.
Yeah, so that's a little shit.
And then the other portion of this, there's a portion in that, and the other portion is aged in first fill Oloroso Sherry. So,
I tell you what, initial on the nose, I'm getting the Oloroso Sherry for sure.
Oh yeah,
big time.
Smoky. Whoa.
Yeah, smoky Oloroso.
Some buttercream.
Yeah, pretty inviting flavors for sure.
Oh, I'm getting bourbon notes here too, heavy, a little bit of charred vanilla.
Yeah, I would say vanilla oak. Yeah, or you could say charred vanilla oak, sure.
Spicy, a little bit of youth coming through. It's definitely be nice if this was a little bit older.
Vanilla here is a really strong vanilla oak note.
Yeah, I was expecting a little more Oloroso. I think a third of this is Oloroso, and the rest was Utopias, which, by the way, a significant portion of that beer is aged in sherry barrels.
Yeah, sweet. It's a really nice sweetness. Not overly sickly sweet, you know what I mean? Not artificial smelling sweet, just a nice sweetness.
And if you're a Scotch whiskey drinker and you've tried some of the American single malts and you thought to yourself, that's like a bourbon maker was trying to make and thought they were making a single malt and it's not. This comes off much more like a Scotch whiskey in the profile.
43% though, Dustin.
It is a little light there. But that's pretty common for Scotch whiskey makers too.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't smell 43%. It smells stronger than that. But
it definitely has a nice nose for that. I was hoping it'd be a little fruitier, but anyway.
No, it's a little drier. But that's not a terrible thing for me.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's very pleasant.
Very nice. I love that vanilla. Vanilla wafer almost. There's also some kind of I wouldn't go so far mint, but there's almost a cooling element to it as well.
Oh, man.
What are you getting?
Wow. Drink's way hotter than the 43. Has a nice surprising amount of oak spice. Some of that could just be a little bit of slightly unrefined malt. It's not that old, but man, I mean, I'm getting cherry, I'm getting vanilla, I'm getting, dare I say, pumpkin spice? I'm getting a little bit of lactose in vanilla. I'm getting, I mean, you name something, man, it's probably here. I'm getting a little bit of dunnage notes, a little bit of grape. I'm definitely picking up some wine notes here. I don't know if it's sherry or if it's something else from the Utopias barrel. A lot of vanilla.
Man.
A slight, almost pineapple mango, but it's a candied version. Not sour. No, there's really not any sourness or tartness, but there's some really nice fruits. That's pretty darn good, Mike.
Yeah, it is. I'll give me one more second.
Yeah. That's really good.
Nice oaky vanilla. The sweetness in here, you're right. I'm getting Oloroso Sherry casks. They either feel like they're refill casks, which that might be the case, but it almost it sachets into what I would consider like a cocoa chocolate. It almost comes back to like a foamy cream that you get maybe off like a head of a Guinness or something like that too. Because I keep trying to think back to like beer barrels, trying to pick out like whatever flavors there, but overall
thinking like the foam on like a latte even maybe.
Yeah, macchiato, something along those lines.
I mean, it's not. There's no coffee per se, really. Maybe.
No, nothing that dark.
I mean,
definitely nothing that dark.
There could be like a really light roasted coffee hint in there, but
I tell you what,
good.
Yeah, it does come off way more substantial.
It's way fruitier than it was on the nose. The nose was nowhere close to that fruity.
Yeah, good start. Good start.
Ooh, now I'm getting like some limestone meets heavy fruits. Lime is now coming through for sure.
Almost a small minerality now with water.
That's what I was saying. The limestone.
Oh,
thing.
limestone.
Yeah.
I said lime.
Well, no, I'm getting a lemon too. No, sorry, I'm getting lime, not lemon. I'm getting lime, and then like that limestone, where like I'm the minerality. But I'm also getting it's almost got like a Lafroig-esque like fruit note. None of the iodine or Band-Aids or hate as some of you would dislike those guys.
Yeah, lime. Yeah, it's coming off distinctly lime now.
Yeah, there's a little minerality.
It does come off like a little bit moss on stone in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lemon citrus is nice on this. And just the right amount of cocoa and chocolate in the background.
Took the water pretty well too. And you're right. More cocoa. Definitely has a spiciness that I do think is just a lack of refinement. But it actually comes off in this mix kind of nice because it just works.
Yeah, it adds a little bit of complexity. Spice sometimes will counterbalance citrus for me. I mean, there's that vanilla oak there too, but that's not strong enough of a note to take on a heavy pillar of citrus.
This has a ton of nuance where there are very subtle shifts in flavors. I mean, but it also has an assertive bit of spice, and the vanilla is assertive. It is not a subtle vanilla. Really interesting whiskey.
I probably drowned it a ton with going back for a second bit of water, but
yeah.
I mean, you nailed the majority of the notes there. Holds up extremely low for 43%.
Yeah, this is actually probably one of the more impressive 43% whiskeys I've had. So, Mike, what do you think the price on this should be?
$80, $60, $80, something like that.
It's right around 60.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was 55 or 65, but somewhere in that range. You know,
it's worth that.
I think they've put it at the right price, man. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a bottle I'm going to rush out and pick up one of, but...
You're not going to be disappointed with this whiskey.
Yeah, if you picked one of these up and were wondering, I think you got yourself a nice, tasty whiskey. It's definitely different.
All right, buddy, let's get to whiskey score time. If you don't mind, let me go first. I am at an 87 out of 100. I would like for it to be a higher ABV, but there's nothing that felt light about this. Everything felt like it was in balance. You can tell there was a decisive plan for what they wanted to get out of it as far as a flavor profile. I think they executed fairly well. 87 out of 100. That's a good score, overall whiskey score. I did not think... I was planning to not give it a whiskey score because I didn't think I'd be that impressed. I figured I'd be somewhere in the low 80s or something for this.
Yeah, I just got a dreamsicle note on the nose here that just blew... like.
There is some type of orange...
I just got this dreamsicle, man. I am loving it, man. I'm going to give it the same score, Mike. Yeah, that was kind of where I was at.
Good score.
I think, if you were giving it a really technical, being very picky, you might be a point or two lower because, I think that spice note does come from youth.
Yeah, a little bit youth.
But they've so beautifully done the cask maturation, the blending. They've put together something just absolutely gorgeous. I was not expecting to be this impressed.
Yeah, neither was I. Yeah, I didn't want to have to shit on, someone that was kind of for send me samples. I'm glad I didn't have to.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we didn't like it, we could just do a versus between the two and say, well, if you're going to buy one, buy that one and just leave out score.
Or not post a review at all. I could have done that too.
There you go.
We don't have to do any of those things, fortunately. Anyway, we're fairly impressed with this one. So I don't think the people over Dogfish, I think Megan was the one who sent it to me. So thank you, Megan, for reaching out and getting back to me. And we will certainly give you a link when we post these reviews so you can take a look at what we thought about the whiskey and tell us how close we were to what the original goal and idea of the whiskey was.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are our thoughts on this particular one. Alternative takes number 4 from Dogfish Head Distillery & Co. 86% ABV. Just until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy 120 minutes of worldwide whiskey drinking.
See you then.